So in this question, we have been given that if the standard deviation of 0, 1, 2, 3 going up till 9 is k, then what is the standard deviation of 10, 11, 12, 13 going up till 19? Alright. So if you can see in the question, we have been given two data set. One data set contains the entries 0, 1, 2, 3 going up till 9, and another data set contains the entries 10, 11, 12, 13 going up till 19, and it has been given that the standard deviation for the first data set is k, then we have to find out the standard deviation for the second data set. But if you closely observe the corresponding entries of both the sets, you will see that when I add 10 to 0, I will get 10. When I add 10 to 1, I will get 11. When I add 10 to 2, I'll get 12, and so on so forth. That means each and every entry of the second data set is 10 more than the corresponding data entries in data set 1. Or in other words, I can say that each data entry of data set 1 has been increased by a constant 10 to get the corresponding data entries of data set 2. Alright, so let me repeat again what is happening between both the sets. So each and every data entry of data set 1 has been increased by a constant number 10 to get the corresponding data entries for data set 2. As we are increasing each and every data entry by a constant number, one small thing that you have to keep in mind is that standard deviation and variance would not change. Okay, standard deviation and variance would remain the same for both the data set. That means whatever is the standard deviation for the first data set would also be the standard deviation for the second data set, because we are going to get the second data set by increasing or by adding a constant number 10 to each and every data entry of data set 1. All right, I am repeating again in as slow as possible. As so here we have two data set, one data set and another data set. Each and every entry of data set 1 has been increased by a constant number 10 to get the corresponding data entry of data set 2. And if we are increasing the data entries by a constant number 10, then two things do not change. One is standard deviation and the second is variance. And that's why we can say that the standard deviation for the second data set would be the same as the standard deviation for the first data set, which is k, and it has been given to us in option B. Hence, we can say that the correct answer to this question is option B. So in this question, we have been given that the mean of a data is 15 and coefficient of variation of the same data is 48. Then we have to calculate the value of standard deviation for the given data. All right. So let me repeat again what has been given to us in this question and what is the agenda of this question. In this question, we have been given that the mean of a data is 15 and the coefficient of variation for the same data is 48. Then we have to calculate what is the standard deviation for the same data. All right. So if you recall, there is a formula which connects all three of them. And that formula is coefficient of variation is equal to standard deviation divided by a mean multiplied by 100. All right. So here we have an equation where we have coefficient of variation equal to sigma divided by x bar multiplied by 100. Now, if you will see, we do know the value of standard deviation. Do we know? No, that's the unknown in this case. But we do know the value of coefficient of variation, and we also know the value of x mean. All right. So if I plug in the known values in this equation, what I'll get is 48 is equal to sigma divided by 15 multiplied by 100. Now you have got an equation in one variable, and that one variable is sigma. All we have to do is just simplify this to calculate sigma. So sigma is equal to 48 multiplied by 15 divided by 100, which is same as 48 multiplied by 3 divided by 20. And if I further simplify this, I'll get 5 here, I'll get 24 here, all right, I'll get 12 here. So this is equal to 36 divided by 5, which is same as 7.2. All right, so we have calculated the value of sigma or the standard deviation as 7.2, which has been given to us in option A. Hence, we can say that the correct answer to this question is option A. So in this question, we have been given that if the range of the numbers x1, x2, x3, x4, x5 is R, where xi is less than xi plus 1. That means the ascending order of the given numbers would be x1, x2, x3, x4, x5. Now, what we are doing is we are multiplying each number by p and then subtracting k from it. Alright, the question is to find out the range of the new numbers. All right, let me repeat again what has been given to us in this question and what is the agenda of this question. In this question, we have been given 5 numbers x1, x2, x3, x4 and x5, and this is their ascending order. Now what we are doing is we are multiplying each of these numbers by a constant p and then subtracting k from it. Okay, now the agenda is to find out the range for the new set of numbers, and it has been already given that the range for the initial set of numbers is R. Okay, so what has been given is there are 5 numbers x1, x2, x3, x4, x5. The range of these 5 numbers is equal to R. That means x5 minus x1 is equal to R. Now we all know that range is defined as x max minus x minimum. So what was the maximum value of these numbers? X5 was the maximum and x1 was the minimum. So range is equal to x5 minus x1, which is equal to R. Now we are performing some operations on the given set of numbers, and those operations is multiplying each number by p and then subtracting k. We still know that range is defined as x max minus x min. So let me find out x5 dash, which is the new 5th data entry, and this would be p times x5 minus k. And similarly, let me find out the lowest new data entry, and that would be p times x1 minus k. So we have calculated the maximum new data entry, which is p times x5 minus k, and we have also calculated the lowest new data entry, which is p times x1 minus k. Now we know that range is defined as x max minus x min, so range would be equal to p times x5 minus k minus p times x1 plus k. Now this k and this k will cancel out each other, and we will be left with p times x5 minus x1. Now we know that x5 minus x1 is equal to R. That was the range of the initial data entries, and if I substitute x5 minus x1 as R, what I will get is new range is equal to p times R, which has been given to us in option A. Hence we can say that the correct answer to this question is option A. So in this question, it has been given that the mean deviation of the numbers 1, 1 plus d, 1 plus 2d, going up till 1 plus 100d from their mean is 255. Then we have to calculate the value of modulus d. Alright, so let me repeat again what has been given to us in this question and what is the agenda of this question. In this question, we have been given that there are 101 numbers, and these numbers are 1, 1 plus d, 1 plus 2d, going up till 1 plus 100d. And it's also given that the mean deviation of these numbers from their mean is 255. Then we have to find out the value of modulus d. So these are the numbers given to us in the question, and we all know that mean is defined as the sum of the observations divided by the number of the observations. We know that there are 101 observations, and their sum would be 1 plus d plus 1 plus 2d plus 1 plus 3d going till 1 plus 100d. So how many ones are there? There are 101 ones. So the sum would be equal to 101 plus d times 1 plus 2 plus 3 going till 100. Alright. So the mean would be equal to the sum of these numbers divided by the number of observations. Alright. So this is what we will get: 101 plus d times 1 plus 2 plus 3 going till 100 whole divided by 101. Now this is same as the sum of the natural numbers. Sum of of the first 100 natural numbers. So this would be same as 100 multiplied by 101 divided by 2. So if I replace this with 100 multiplied by 101 divided by 2 and further simplify this, I'll get mean is equal to 1 plus 50d, because this 101 and this 101 will cancel out each other. This 2 will cancel out this 100 to give us 50 in the numerator, and now we have mean is equal to 1 plus 50d. Now in the question it has been given that the mean deviation from the mean is 255, and we also know that mean deviation is defined as 1 by n multiplied by summation of modulus of xi minus capital M, which in this case would be mean from 1 to n. All right. So when we further solve this, what we will get is the sum of mod of 1 minus 1 plus 50d, 1 plus d minus 1 plus 50d, and so on so forth. Now if I further simplify this, what I will get is 2 times modulus of d multiplied by the sum of the first n natural numbers, and in this case we are talking about the first 50 natural numbers. And what would be the sum of the first 50 natural numbers? It would be 50 multiplied by 51 divided by 2. So when we replace this bracket with 50 multiplied by 51 by 2, what we will get is 2 times modulus of d multiplied by 50 multiplied by 51 by 2 is equal to 101 multiplied by 255. This 2 and this 2 will cancel out each other, and if we further simplify this, we will get modulus of d is equal to 10.1, which has been given to us in option B. Hence we can say that the correct answer to this question is option B. So in this question, we have been given that both mean and the standard deviation of 50 observations x1, x2, x3 going till x50 are equal to 16. Then we have to find out the mean of the observations x1 minus 4 the whole square, x2 minus 4 the whole square going till x50 minus 4 the whole square. All right. So what has been given to us in this question, and what is the agenda of this question? In this question, we have been given 50 observations x1, x2, x3 going till x50, and it has been also given that both mean and standard deviation for these 50 observations is equal to 16. Now the agenda of this question is to find out the mean of the observations x1 minus 4 the whole square, x2 minus 4 the whole square going till x50 minus 4 the whole square. Now we all know that mean is defined as summation of all the entries divided by the number of observations. Basically, mean is equal to sum of observations divided by the number of observations, and as given to us in the question, mean is equal to 16. So what we will get is 16 is equal to the sum of all observations divided by 50. From here we got the sum of all observations as 60 multiplied by 50. In the question it has been also given that the standard deviation is 16, and we know that standard deviation, which is sigma, is defined as square root of summation of xi square divided by n minus mu whole square, where mu is defined as the mean. All right. So if I plug in the known values here, what I will get is 16 is equal to square root of xi square divided by 50 minus mu whole square. And we know that mu is also equal to 16. So if I square on both sides and rearrange these terms, what I will get is summation of xi square divided by 50 is equal to 16 square plus 16 square, which is 512. So from here, what did we get is summation of xi square is equal to 512 multiplied by 50. All right, so let me repeat again what we did till now in this question. There were 50 observations, and we know that mean is equal to 16, and we also know that mean is equal to the sum of all observations divided by the number of observations. So from this we got the sum of all observations as 16 multiplied by 50. Now the second piece of information which was given to us in the question was standard deviation is also equal to 16. We know that standard deviation is square root of summation of xi square divided by n minus mu the whole square. Now after plugging in the value of standard deviation as 16 and mean as 16 and squaring on both sides, what we will get is summation of xi square divided by 50 is equal to 16 square plus 16 square, which is 512. So from here we got the sum of the squares of the data entries, and the sum of the squares of the observations is equal to 512 into 50. All right, so what we have got here is summation of xi square is 512 into 50 and summation of xi is 16 times 50. Now we need to calculate the mean of summation of xi minus 4 the whole square divided by 50. If I further simplify this, this could be written as summation of xi square plus 16 minus 8 times xi whole divided by 50. On further simplifying this by distributing the summation over this bracket, what we will get is summation of xi square divided by 50 plus summation of 16 divided by 50 minus 8 times summation of xi divided by 50. What is summation of 16 divided by 50? The summation of 16 divided by 50 would be same as 16 multiplied by 50 divided by 50. Okay, so what we have got here is 512, because we already know summation of xi square divided by 50 is 512. We already know summation of xi divided by 50 is 16. So when we plug in those values, we will get 512 plus 16 minus 8 times 16, which on further simplification gives us 400. So what is the required mean? The required mean is 400, which has been given to us in option B. Hence, we can say that the correct answer to this question is option B.